Did you know that debunked myths about LGBTQ people are being cited as real science everywhere from city governments to the Supreme Court? And that many of the anti-equality extremists' go-to experts have never even studied gender or sexual orientation? I'm Sarah McBride, HRC's National Press Secretary, here with LGBT health expert Dr. Tonya Poteet to debunk some of the common myths still being used to defend discrimination, and to explain how to tell real science from alternative facts.
The first common myth is that sexual orientation is a choice, and people might be able to change it. In reality, current evidence suggests that sexual orientation is an innate quality, and for most people, it remains stable over time. There's no credible research to support claims that someone can choose or change their sexual orientation. There is evidence that trying to change someone's sexual orientation is associated with psychological harm. Another myth is that LGBTQ people have higher rates of mental health problems that can't be explained by discrimination and prejudice. In reality, a growing number of scientific studies show that these mental health differences are strongly connected to stigma and discrimination. There's also evidence that LGBTQ people have better mental health when they have accepting families and communities. In fact, a recent study found that marriage equality has been associated with lower rates of suicide in LGBTQ teens. A third, newer myth is that kids who don't conform to gender stereotypes are encouraged to become transgender. The truth is that in every documented case when a child makes a gender transition, it's been because the child is consistently certain that this is who they are. The only way to get away with claims like these is to skip an important part of the scientific process, a system called peer review, where experts carefully read and give each other feedback on their work. A major role of peer review is making sure that what is published is based in valid research. It's a crucial safeguard separating science from opinion.
A psychiatrist at Johns Hopkins, Dr. Paul McHugh, has published a series of essays about LGBTQ people that endorse these myths.
We're concerned about the harm that these opinions may cause if they're taken as fact. The essays you mentioned did not go through peer review, and they weren't printed in a real science journal. Instead, they've been published in religious magazines and a political think tank. Therefore, they have not met the standards of valid science. People can get away with citing misleading essays like this because lots of us don't pay attention to where the essays come from. So when you see a scientific claim in a newspaper, a court document, or anywhere else, check where it comes from. A web search can tell you whether it's from a peer-reviewed science journal or a publication that's not scientific at all.
When myths about LGBTQ people make it into legislatures and courts, they hurt real people. We can't let anti-LGBTQ extremists treat alternative facts like science, but we can call them out when they try. To learn more, visit hrc.im/junkscience.